Hey everyone, it's me back again with another energetic episode of our podcast. So today, like I basically want to share about two of the basically one newly planted neem tree. Okay, and then surprisingly, what happened is that in another corner of my house, there is another neem tree growing. I don't know how this basically happened, you know. Yeah, so let me just start with the beginning. So, 1 month, or yeah, it was in the month of June, and I think in the beginning of June. Okay, so I have bought a neem plant and planted it in another corner of my house. Okay, so basically, it's like the very ending, like, corner of the house. So basically we don't go there, so I've just planted it, as just the sake of home gardening. Okay, just for fun. Okay, so I haven't uploaded it anywhere about planting of that particular tree, because I planted it just, I wanted a neem tree in my house, because in our neighboring, like, we don't have neem trees and all. So basically I've decided to plant it in my own home. Then what happened, I was basically wondering, okay, when after planting that tree there, that plant basically there, I was wondering, okay, I have planted it there, but like, my window is in the another side, like it's basically on my uh, like on the right side. Okay, so where I planted the neem, the plant, okay, that's like a, like, we don't have any window or anything. Okay, we don't even basically go there. It was basically like an ending corner that previously also like said. So the thing is that, so I was basically wondering one day that if I could plant this near my window, because we have ample of, um like, space there. Okay, like, to plant anything. So a wonderful thing happened is that I've discovered that a new neem tree has grown. Okay, and they are almost of same size. Okay, now I don't know how this basically happened. Like, it was like quite rainy, and like monsoon season in India, and suddenly a plant has been like growing there. And basically I have, like, okay, first when it was growing I thought maybe something, something like useless plant was growing, but when it started growing a little, and it actually, like, grew very fast. Okay, like, today it's almost the size of that particular plant which I have planted like a month ago. And if you compare both the plants, you will basically think that they are planted in the same time, but it's completely not like that. uh, this was suddenly grown. I don't know how. Maybe some sort of seed flew, or I don't know what happened. I have no idea how this particular, the tree was growing there, over there. And also the thing is that that particular, like, the thing that place outside my window, it's like, why haven't, you might be wondering now why I haven't planted any, anything there. Because I am someone who's like a planting freak. Okay, because I love planting trees here and there, and even in my educational institution or any place I go, my parents are always thinking why she is always, carrying a plant or something. Like, in my home we have so many, like, different varieties of, like, plants there, only because of me, because I have been growing them, like. Okay, um yeah, another thing, I think I haven't shared this with you, that the guava tree, so which was, like, basically I planted in a different spot. Okay, there was a, like, picnic spot which I went, like, yeah, I think a year ago or something. Yeah, yeah, I think a year ago. So basically later what happened, I decided to, take that plant from there, because I was like, one day what happened, that I was suddenly thinking, like, it was, I think, our school breaks were happening, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, there was some sort of break was there. Okay, and I was basically like curious about whether the plant is, alive or not. Okay, so I decided to went back to that place again with my dad, and what we have done is that we have basically taken that plant out from there and planted it in my home. Okay, now it's basically growing beautifully in my garden, and we are about to get fruits from it. Yes, some fruits are also like guavas are also there, 2 3 guavas. So they are not yet able to, they're not ripe yet. Okay, but I'm like waiting and curious because how that plant which was there in another place now, like after I have like planted it in my home, like this plant has basically started growing so fast. Okay, and another that miraculous thing that happened just near my window, that beautiful plant, a neem tree that is basically growing out of nowhere. I haven't put any kind of seeds or any plant, and nothing was there. Okay, uh, because it was like a window side, so basically we haven't thought that something would grow out of there like suddenly, because we haven't planted anything there. And also the, if I talk about the soil, so basically it's a brick covered soil, so basically bricks are there, and in between a little bit of like land is exposed, so it's something like that. Okay, so like it's something miraculous that has happened, and the plant has grown so much, like it's almost same as the size of that which I planted there. So I don't know how this is possible. Okay, if you know anything about like planting another would also help grow another, I don't know that is possible, like scientifically I don't know. I something this was like unexpected, because I was one day I was after planting that tree, like for like 3 4 days after that, I was basically just wondering what happened if I would have planted that tree here. It would have been amazing, like I would have directly get that neem fresh air or fresh oxygen of that particular neem plant directly from my window. It's something miraculous happened, that after a few days uh, tree suddenly, like a plant suddenly started to grow. Okay, so something unbelievable happened. Okay, so why I'm sharing this with you, you might be wondering, because yes, I have been sharing about my plants and all, you know about everything with you regarding plants or trees. So as a founder of Save and Plant Trees, I believe um yeah, after like I have planted so many trees or plants. Okay, uh some have grown beautifully, but some have might not thrived, uh, because I have planted in a different distinct location. So it's also sometimes difficult for me to go to such places, like in every week, because it's like difficult. Okay, because I have planted them so far away, like in picnic spots, etc. Okay, which is very very far away from the main city. Okay, so which is kind of difficult for me to basically go there, look after them, even after I have told the authorities or people, the local people around them. They might not be able to uh, take care of that plant as I did. Okay, I'm not saying that they are not taking care. Some of them have kept care of the plants in local communities, but uh, yeah, everyone also today's if you look in our lives today, it's very difficult, because um, everyone has their work to do, etc etc, various different things are there. So yeah, because basically in urban areas it's kind of difficult to uh, plant trees like everywhere. Okay, because what I think, that I plant trees in places where I think nobody would have thought that somebody would come and plant a tree. Because wherever I see like any land that is like without plants or tree, the first reaction of me is, let me plant a tree there, or plant a anything there. Okay, it is suitable for that particular environment. Okay, So you know these things are kind of very very different, or what over the years I've learned is that when you care for nature, okay, I also believe that you can sort of connect yourself to the nature, because as someone who actually being connected with the nature was basically introduced to me by my maternal grandmother. And after that I have learned myself that how to talk to trees or plants. Okay, I do talk to trees, and this might be very odd for some of you that you talk to trees and plants. Okay, these things are crazy, but no, I have basically find something really interesting, that whenever I share something with you know uh, like something with um, with nature, or with uh, plants, whatever, good or bad or anything, I'm curious about something. Whenever I look into any plant or tree, and when my heart basically shares the thing with a tree, I'm able to connect with the nature to the very core, and I'm also able to connect to myself to the core. Okay, because I think today what I believe, that I have discovered myself, who am I, only because the thing is that I've been connecting myself with the nature, which is quite important, because every tree or every plant in my surrounding, whether it's in my education institution, my home, or in the way I'm going, or anywhere a place, anywhere wherever I go. Okay, or maybe with my parents, or anywhere I go in my vacations, in my holidays, there I see one thing: what kind of plants are there, trees are growing, what kind of soil is there. So I'm quite, as an environmentalist also, this is a very fun part of being an environmentalist, that whenever you go to a particular place, you kind of observe everything. Okay, now if you speak about my home, uh, basically, if I in my area, my neighboring area, basically what I have observed in this particular area, that comparatively to any other area, in this particular area, we are having more, like, trees are there everywhere. Okay, I'm not saying they are not, but whenever I see, I kind of observe that I have find out that the trees and all, like the natural vegetation is very much, uh, comparatively to the other places, uh, our neighborhood is having a little bit more, and because of that our neighborhood is a very very, like a little bit of like a cooler region comparatively to the other. Okay, now I don't know whether I'm speaking exactly or not, whether I'm 100% correct or not, but one thing, and then it's based on my observation, that I've observed that. And also what I've observed here is that another thing, another very fun thing, is that plants tend to grow faster, 10x faster, I would say here, because whenever, like, I'll remember there was a flowering plant which I planted in my garden, and this was, I think, in January or February. So that was a very little plant. Okay, and now it has grown like very much faster, like, because it's basically a climbing, like, kind of plant. So it has basically covered the entire wall, which I couldn't believe that it could happen here. So yeah, things are a little bit different, and I don't know whether I'm speaking very very correctly, but this is something which I've observed. Okay, uh, yeah, and you might have also discovered these things, maybe, if you have went to places, to travel or something, you might have noticed some kind of things like that. Okay, so I believe I've talked a lot about trees today, but this was for today, and because this is an entire 14 plus minutes, almost going to be a 15-minute podcast, so let's end this here. Hope you all are safe, happy, uh yeah, just be yourself, love yourself, and bye bye. See you in the next episode.